Why do Hindus hate Muslims? This is a really intense question, an intense title, and it's not the title that I would have chosen, but this came up as being something that people search for on Google a lot, so I wanted to address it. First of all, Hindus are peaceful people. The vast majority do not hate Muslims or hate anyone. There are many areas of India where Hindus and Muslims are living side by side perfectly peacefully. And I assume that the majority of Muslims are probably also peaceful and not wanting trouble and violence with their friends and neighbors. I mean, I don't know that many Muslims, and I'm trying to correct that and, not have as prejudiced a perspective. So, but I suspect that most of them are also peaceful. But there has been a really long and difficult history between Hindus and Muslims. And if you think about how strong a reaction most Americans had to 9/11 and the amount of fear and hatred and negative feelings with that, I mean, you can only imagine how much more that would be if it was hundreds of years of attacks like that and targeting of your religion. India used to be all Hindu. I mean, it wasn't called Hindu. Hindu still isn't really the word that we call ourselves. That's Sanatana Dharma. But, way back, the Indian people were all kind of practicing local tribal versions of Hinduism, and they all kind of had their own take on things, which is perfectly fine because Hinduism doesn't have this is the only way to truth. So Muslims invaded and took over, and they made Hindus second-class citizens in their own land. Like, Hindus had to pay an extra tax for not being Muslim. So it's a really difficult history. Despite Hinduism having some of the deepest philosophy in the world, many Muslims that I encounter consider it backwards and uncivilized. So there's a lot of prejudice against Hindus. One Muslim said that he respects all religions except Hinduism. Another that I spoke to, who has just started a blog about interfaith connection, he meant between Muslims and Christians, who are, I don't understand why they don't realize that they're really the same faith. But anyway, I was speaking to him, and he finally admitted that as a monotheist, yes, he does not respect polytheism as a path to God. So I don't know how we can have a peaceful future, really, if monotheists are incapable of respecting polytheists or other ways of understanding and approaching divinity. Some people say that both sides are equally to blame for animosity, but I don't really think that's true. There's a compulsion in Islam to convert others, and Hinduism does not have that need. The only time Hindus try to convert is sometimes some of them think they need to bring back people whose ancestors were Hindu, who were forcibly converted to Islam generations ago. So there is a movement for some people wanting to do that. But Hindus are dealing with a lot of fear because, our religion doesn't grow in this Borg-like way that Islam and Christianity do, of you will be assimilated, you must, resistance is futile. Both those religions have a mission to wipe out religions that don't worship their God. And we don't. So it's super scary because we don't proselytize, we don't convert, we don't spread like that. And we need to stand up against those bullies. Hindus need protection from this violence and force that's used to make them convert. Christian missionaries tend to use tricks and bribes these days, and Muslims kidnap and marry Hindu girls to force them to convert. Recently, some Hindu pilgrims were murdered, so there is still a lot of violence going on in the name of, if you don't worship Allah, you must be killed, or forced to because Allah is the only God, and we just don't have that belief that there's only one God, that you have to do it this way. So of course not all Muslims are like that, and not all Christians are like that, but there is a long history of violence against Hindus and terrorist groups using the philosophies of Christianity or Islam to justify murder. So I think it's understandable that some Hindus are afraid of Muslims. Even conservative fundamentalist Hindus usually only ask to be left in peace to practice their religion, and they just want an end to manipulative conversion. So not all Hindus hate Muslims, but there is a history of fear and violence and coercion that makes it quite understandable why some do, and that there's a lot of fear around Islam and the way that it spreads by force. Thank you so much for watching my videos. I hope that you enjoyed it. I would love for you to subscribe to my channel. You can look for the little circle with my face in it, click on that, and you will be subscribed. If you click the little bell icon, you can get notifications whenever I post a video, so you can make sure you don't miss out on anything. I've got tons of great videos planned, and I'm making sure that they just keep getting better and better.